Hello and welcome. If you're in a rush and you'd like to skip my chit-chatting, you have two options. You can either go straight to the introduction to my story, or you can go straight to the story at the times that are appearing on the screen or in the description below. And I hope you find it very entertaining. Bye-bye. For everyone else, you stuck around. I feel so special. Thank you very much. Okay, I would just like to discuss three things with you very quickly. First things first, our usual club structure versus special events. We have a certain structure at our Toastmasters meetings. Depending on the club, we either meet in person or virtually or some kind of hybrid mode. Each of the members meets up and they all have a role to play, and we all get to talk a little bit or more, depending on if we have a speech or not. And that's how we overcome our fear of public speaking, because we get more and more comfortable with each other and with speaking, and we sort of become desensitized to the whole experience. Okay, I'm not trying to be biased here, but my club, Words on Wings, is just so much fun. Our VP of Education, Chit, comes up with all those fun ideas. Like we have debates sometimes and whatever. She just likes to switch it up on us. So it's a lot of fun. And this last Friday, we had a storytelling fest. It was quite a phenomenal experience. We had 7 storytellers and I was one of them. Okay, so storytelling is new to me. You may have seen that I like to bring in characters in my different speeches just to try to spice things up a bit or to make my story a bit more relatable. But I've never said a story from the beginning to the end, ever. So at first I agreed to do it. I go, sure, let's push out of my comfort zone. Let's do this. But then as the days passed by, I felt that I had no story to tell. I know everybody has a story to tell, but I just couldn't come up with anything. So then I spoke to Chit. Okay, I'm going to try to imitate her. I hope she doesn't watch this. Patricia, everybody has a story to tell. Talk about anything. Invent whatever you want. She has a very, very musical voice. So I thought about it after we hung up, and one incident immediately came to mind. I got so excited that I sent Chit the title of my message right away. I had not even figured out a script or what I was going to, how I was going to be doing it. I knew that was the incident I had to talk about. So I ended up writing my script the night before the meeting, which brings me to my second point, my family and my friends committee. Okay. Usually before I present to my club, I always go through my clique or my committee. My daughter, my 2 cousins, one of my colleagues, and my brother. They all give me tips and recommendations, and I try to find ways to fill the gaps that they identified. Then I present it to my club, and in our usual club structure, I get a lot of feedback through private chat from each of the members. They tell me what they liked and what they feel I can improve, and then I get a 2 to 3 minute evaluation from my speech evaluator. So that's how we get better. And then I come to you, my dear YouTube friends, and then you hopefully give me even more feedback in the comments under or in my social media platforms. And that's how I plan to become an excellent communicator one day. One day. So with this storytelling fest we had a few days ago, I first presented that story to my cousin Linsey. She had no clue what I was going to talk about. So I started telling the story, and 1 minute in, I saw a look of recollection on her face. She remembered exactly what event I was talking about because she was there. So she thought my story was riveting, to use her terms. It had her sitting at the edge of her seat, even if she knew the outcome. But then she told me that she was confused with the different characters or roles that I was playing, that she didn't know who was who sometimes. When a person that was present at the actual event gets confused with my storytelling, friends, I had to question my abilities. So I made some tweaks to remove the confusion. Then I went to my brother and I went to my daughter. My daughter was annoyed with something I kept doing. So I figured if I'm annoying my daughter, I think I'm going to be annoying you guys too. So I removed that part, those parts. So I thought I had it together in a nicely wrapped package before my club meeting. I managed to deliver it in a pretty decent way, I thought. It came out, at least it came out the way that I intended it to. But when the evaluation came along at the end, I found out that there was still a lot of confusion with the roles I was playing and the structure. So I got some really good suggestions. If you want to see them, just go down to the description on the video, press on show more, and you'll see it all. Thank you, Joy, Chit, and Frédéric for your valuable feedback. Oh, and a particular thank you to Alex. I'll tell you why. After the meeting, I thought, storytelling is just not for me. I'll leave it to the other amazing storytellers in my club and in the world. I know, not the best attitude. But then after I complained to Alex by messenger that my delivery wasn't the best and I didn't think this was YouTube worthy, he wrote 5 words to me. You can always redo it. And I initially thought, I don't think so, sir. Suivant, next. I had to move on to other speeches. But then I decided to give it another chance. So here I am. Which brings me to the final part of this little heart-to-heart, the time factor. I'm always stressing out about fitting my speech into the allotted time. This is really critical at Toastmasters because if we don't respect the time, then we're messing with the other speakers' speeches, which would really be disrespectful. So we always have a timekeeper that flashes different colors on the screen in the background. So green when we have reached the minimum time, yellow when we need to start wrapping up, and then red when we need to stop talking like right away. So when I'm worried about being out of time, I start speaking really fast. And then people can't keep track of what I'm saying because I literally do not articulate my words anymore. So I had 4 minutes to tell my tale at my club, but for the purpose of this video, I extended it to the usual 5 to 7 minute speech to give the story a chance and help you fine folks understand what I'm trying to talk about. I'm happy I got it done. It was a first for me and it was a heap of fun. Hopefully you like this modified version. Okay, end of chit chat. Let's do this. You're about to witness my first storytelling experiment that I just shared with my club Words on Wings on Friday, September the 17th, 2021. The purpose was for me to tell a tale on any subject, fictional or actual, about any topic. I received a lot of feedback. I think I fixed what had to be fixed. Of course, there's always something else that can be fixed. Now it's up to you to let me know what you think I can improve. Don't be shy. Tell me what you liked so I can keep doing it, and tell me what you feel I can improve for the next video. If it's not already done, subscribe to the channel and click notifications so you can be notified as soon as I upload my new exciting material later on this week. Let's go. Have you ever been through an event that made you feel like you were going to have a heart attack? Dear friends, before I even reached my 40th birthday, and while I had a perfect bill of health, it happened to me. I will share a story that took place approximately 3 years ago. Come back in time with me. I'll tell you all about it. Let's start at the beginning, the wedding day. I usually enjoyed going to weddings. There was delicious food and then all the great music and dancing and the festive atmosphere. What is there not to love? When my daughter was a baby, I always made sure that someone babysat her so that I could really fully enjoy the experience in peace and quiet. But then a few years ago, my brother had to go out of town. So my mom and I were both tasked with babysitting my 2 nieces. Let's call them Rosie and Emma, a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. We thought, what's the worst that can happen with all the wealth of knowledge that we possess? Surely we can handle 2 babies at a wedding. Little did we know. Here we were at the wedding ceremony, and I started getting anxious at one point. First of all, I was terrified at the idea that Emma would wake up and start crying because she could be really loud. And then I was starving, and I was sure that Rosie must have been starving too because that child was always hungry. So I snuck out some cashews from my purse and I started eating them. And of course, I passed them over to Rosie. Which brings us to the incident. Finally, the ceremony was over. I was ready to get this party started. But then I noticed that Rosie's eye was swelling up and that she kept scratching it. Allow me to jump into Rosie's thoughts for just 1 minute. Oh, what is happening to me? The food is still in my mouth, but mommy said I have to swallow. I can't spit it out, but I can't swallow. I can't breathe and I'm itchy everywhere. And why is Auntie looking so scared? Should I be scared too? Friends, that's when my heart stopped and I started to panic. Oh no, she's having an allergic reaction. Please, somebody get me an EpiPen. Nobody has an EpiPen? Please save the child. Then I began asking myself a ton of questions. Do I need to call 911? Why is her mouth full? Rosie, spit out the cashews. You're going to choke on them. Then I remembered that Emma was allergic to dairies. So I urged my mom, please look if there's an EpiPen in her diaper bag, please. Yes, there was an EpiPen. So I took off the blue safety cap and I stubbed the needle in her chunky thigh. I had to give it to Rosie. She had been extremely brave and calm up to now. But now that I had jabbed her in the thigh, she started howling and looked at me with such a look of shocked betrayal that it broke my heart. I think she must have thought something like, why did Auntie hurt me like that? She's not nice. I want my mommy and my daddy to come back from their vacation and take me and Emma back home. Poor child. Which brings us to the end of the tale. From the wedding party to the hospital. I recall from my first 8 courses that when a child is injected with epinephrine, we still need to take her to the hospital to be monitored. So I left Emma with my mom at the wedding. I grabbed Rosie and rushed to the hospital, which was 8 minutes away, according to my GPS. Here we were in the car. I kept looking back in the mirror. Friends, Rosie was so swollen, she was barely recognizable. That's when I started praying. Please don't kill my brother's eldest child. Please save the child, save the child. Then I was thinking, this child must be freaking out. So I thought, I should put on my biggest smile, take my most reassuring tone, and tell her, everything is going to be okay. Rosie, we're going to see the nice doctor at the hospital. And I'm so sorry, Auntie, that I hurt you before. And yeah, that I scared you. I was just trying to help you. So as I was driving, I called her parents as calmly as possible and said, hello, bro. How are you? Just thought you should know. Rosie had a little allergic reaction to the cashews I gave her. Oh, there's no problem. I used Emma's EpiPen. She's a bit swollen, but I'm 5 minutes away from the emergency. Yes, absolutely. I'll keep you updated. There's no worry here. Okay, we made it to the hospital. She was still breathing. I jumped out of the car, grabbed the child in her fancy pink dress, and rushed to the triage. While every single cell in my body was shouting, please save the child, the triage nurse was very relaxed, a little bit too laid back for my taste, I've got to say. She was asking me all kinds of questions, to which I responded as calmly as possible. No, I'm not her mother. I'm her aunt. Her parents are out of town. No, I don't have her Medicare card. Yes, she's a resident of this province. No, she had no known allergies. I think she reacted to the cashews I just gave her 20 minutes ago. Please save the child. In the end, my niece was saved. We had discovered while she was on my watch that she was allergic to cashews. You know what I tell my brother whenever he asks me to babysit his daughters? Oh, bro, do not bring them at my house unless they have Benadryl and an EpiPen. And a little friendly advice for you. If you ever have to babysit young children, even if they have no known allergies, you may want to consider procuring yourself a bottle of Benadryl and an EpiPen if you want to spare yourself a heart attack. The end. If you like this story, please press the thumbs up and tell me what you enjoyed. If you were still confused or have more tips for me, please don't be shy. Let me know in the comments below. I always read and respond to every comment. If you know someone who might enjoy this tale, share it with them. See you in the next video.